Is that the best that you can do? Living on wasted time. You don't got much time to lose. Living on and on and on and on and on. Do you really believe you are on the safe side? Living on wasted time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Living the Dream with Travis Barton. I am Travis Barton. This is my guest, the one and only rock star, Monica Loren. She is a mind-body practitioner. And I imagine a lot of people listening right now, their ears just perked up when they heard that. And she's an incredible woman. She's doing incredible things. And I had to have her on the show. I think when I started this show, you were one of the first people that I thought of to have on here. So I'm so stoked to have you on. How are you doing today?
I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm just excited to be talking to you.
Awesome. So for anybody who doesn't know who you are, I know this is kind of a loaded question and not to get too existential here or anything like that, but who are you?
If you really want to go to it, I mean, I'm here as a person to do everything I can to help people that come in contact with me remember who they really are. That's who I am. I feel like deep down at our core, we're all just kind of receiving and, cycling information. So if we can really get in touch with the truth, we can change the world from that space.
What's the truth? I think that's going to be a deep one at some point down the road in this conversation here. But for now, I want to kind of put that on hold just a minute. What's the truth? I want people listening right now to kind of consider that. What's your truth listening to this? And if there's anything here that inspires you to uncover that truth in yourself, I think that's a really interesting talking point. So you're a mind-body practitioner. I see all over social media. Fitness is a huge part of what you do and how you show up in the world. And of course, your therapy is a huge part. And I see them kind of coexisting in your life so well. What compelled you to really step into this in the way that you're doing this right now? What compelled you to really become this type of coach?
I've had a lot of interesting experiences that have been really painful growing up, and it forced me to go deeper. It forced me to kind of, instead of dealing with them externally, I had this sense to go within. In doing so, I found all these ways to help myself through fitness, through meditation, through the therapy that I help people with. And as I began to feel better, a part of me just wanted to share that. Being the change is the found way to help people. So I try to show up in a way that can inspire people as best as I can so that it can hold the space for them to also show up in their own life.
Beautiful. I always say this, when you're a personal brand and entrepreneur, and I think this is something you're so good at, it's something that certainly inspired myself to show up really powerfully in my own business. When you're a personal branded entrepreneur, especially somebody who's inspiring other people, you got to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk. We see too many people out there who are so cookie cutter and they're just kind of, they're saying what they think needs to be said, but they're not really living in alignment with it, right? And I think you're kind of the perfect example of a woman who's really stepping into their power in a real way. And you're not hardly ever promoting yourself. You're just kind of living your life, I'm seeing a lot of people being attracted by that. And so I think that's a really interesting perspective there. It's something that I work on with the own coaches that I work on. And you want to be successful in your business, let's work on the foundation. That's your life. Because when you show up powerfully in your own life, that's when the magic happens. And you mentioned something super important as well. You said fitness and meditation were deep foundations for you. And as you know, probably meditation and working out, those are the two things that I recommend every single person to do. Everybody. Move the body, still the mind. You do that, and those are the foundations, I believe, certainly for lasting happiness and fulfillment. What do you think on that?
100%. Always. If I could have one magic power, it would be to force my clients to meditate and exercise every day. They're always like, why do you want me to do this? I'm like, just trust me.
Yeah. It's the craziest thing.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what impacted my entire life. That's the foundations for me. It was sitting down, shutting out all the thoughts going on in my head and just listening to my breath, right? And just focusing on that breath and just being silent, because that's where our real authenticity shines. And then working out, because working out, let's be honest, guys, it's not just about bigger biceps. Ladies, it's not about nicer butts. It's about feeling good. It's about being inspired, right? It's about being pumped up. I think that feeling that you get after a good workout is better than any type of drug or alcohol or anything. And then you couple that with meditation every day, and man, you're sailing.
You want to move energy. Important to be still, but also like you get stagnant as well. You know, you're obviously getting endorphins and whatnot. We get stuck sometimes on a cellular level and we don't realize it. And moving can shift stuff that we're not even aware of. So that's why it's really important.
Can you elaborate on that? That's really interesting. What do you mean by things on a cellular level?
Well, we can have emotions or even kind of beliefs that get stored in our body. So if we're not present with them, if we don't connect with them and even move the energy, it can create a stuck feeling. And this can kind of infiltrate your whole entire life if you're not present enough with it. Oftentimes with my clients, they come in and we have to really go deep and recognize that we're not letting ourselves feel certain things. And so when we finally do allow certain feelings to kind of unfold, a whole new world sometimes.
You said before the show, you said it's cool. He said it's cool to get in touch with your feelings. It's okay.
Yeah.
And do you see a lot of the people that you work with kind of resisting really being authentic with their feelings and really coming to terms with them? And how does that usually work with you? How do you work with people through that?
It's a good question. It depends on the person and their conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Sure, the conditioning, man. I mean, that's the foundation of it all. We're everything is learned. Our fears, our anxieties, all that stuff is learned throughout our life. It's not who we are, right? So you talk about getting back to your authentic self, man. None of these fears, anxieties, and beliefs about us are authentic, right?
It depends on the person. I find women are definitely have an easier time with it. It's kind of our natural ability. We have that ability already. And men can get in touch with their emotions. I'm not saying they can't, but there is more conditioning to not maybe feel and express. You know, don't process. You're weak. You're being feminine. You know, you're being sensitive. That's just crazy. Like, it's be powerful to just let yourself feel and be and just, this is it. Like, this is me. This is what I'm feeling. And it can be really intense, but that's beautiful. You know, vulnerability is absolutely beautiful. And it's incredible when men and women can share that. I think that's absolutely being strong and keeping yourself together.
I think sharing your emotions and being authentic with your emotions and your feelings, I think that makes you strong. I don't think that's mutually exclusive. I think that makes you a strong man. I mean, it certainly makes you courageous in doing that. I'm seeing the paradigm kind of being shifted in recent years where men are being more open about this and they are stepping into their power more authentically with this. So that's certainly something I'm noticing. Where do you think this initial paradigm came from that men can't, they have to pretend to be this just masculine, you know, Herculean version of what a man should be, this character? Where do you think that came from?
You know, society, conditioning, generations of this is how we should be. It goes way back. Yeah. I mean, every day you look at a magazine, it's like, be this way, be that way, you know, social media, be this, it's still out there. Yeah. So we're getting bombarded with this stuff and people are starting to feel like something's not right. They don't necessarily know what it is, like you said, and people are on all different levels, but they're like, I want to be myself, not this person that I'm supposed to be. It's amazing. People are changing, like you said, absolutely. Men are changing, women are changing, everyone, you know, it's not just men.
Yeah, certainly. I think this is a recurring theme on the show and certainly my coaching. In authenticity lies total emotional freedom. You know, it's exhausting to go through the world being inauthentic, wearing a mask. You got to pretend to be somebody else in front of other people to make them happy, but you don't even like them in the first place. And they don't even like who you are in the first place. And then, you know, you're constantly, perpetually wearing this mask. And that's exhausting. Isn't it just easier to go through the life just to be who you are?
It is, but it's scary to be vulnerable and then get rejected. It hurts sometimes to, this is me, I'm like innocent, childlike self, and now someone's like, no, shut it down. Like, I don't like you.
I don't. Yeah. What is this new version of Monica? I don't know. Yeah, like she's all of a sudden like making money and she's in shape and she's happy. I don't want that, right? I don't want none of that, right?
So if someone is uncomfortable with you being yourself, it's because they're uncomfortable with themselves being themselves. That's really where it's at. So you have to remember that if you're rejected or judged or all that good stuff, and that's a common theme with my clients is just remembering that's just a projection. Whatever they believe, whatever they don't like about themselves, whatever they don't believe that they can actually do in their life, they can't see that. So they, shut it down.
I'm connecting so deeply with what you're saying. What would you say to somebody who has their heart singing to step into the world more authentically? Their heart is calling them to be more open. Their heart is calling them to really step into that authentic, vulnerable person, but they're scared to do it for fear of what others think of them. What would you say to that person?
I would say take baby steps and just try little things here and there. Like even when people can't meditate, I'd say just try a minute 10 times a day. And then as you start to see, oh my God, this worked, it teaches your consciousness. And if you continue that process for 30 days, you'll start to see that it's natural. Yeah. So you don't have to do some big, aha, this is me. Like you can be gentle and take your time, but just do something and share yourself in one little way and just keep doing it. And then recognize your victory. So you're teaching yourself, this is good. I can share and this is good. And then the next thing you know, it is showing up, but you need to consistently do it.
Sure. Lao Tzu, Lao Tzu said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And Lao Tzu was a wise, wise man. He didn't say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with an airplane ride to the very end, right? It takes a single step. Yeah. And oftentimes, especially in this society, we get so overworked with the big picture, the big adventure of it all, that we live in a state of preparation. Right? We keep saying someday I'll get around to meditating. Yeah. Someday I'll get around to living authentically. Someday I'll get around to finally working out. You've probably heard this a million times. But the single step is the most powerful thing you can do. Be present and take that step. Take it consciously and be completely mindful in it. And you take the first step, ladies and gentlemen. I challenge you. Monica, I'm sure challenges you as well. You take that first step. What is that first step towards that great adventure that your heart's asking you to step into? We don't care about what's at the top of the mountain right now. All we care about right now is that first step. Yeah. So think about that. What is that first step? Is it meditating 1 minute a day, 10 times a day, or 1 minute, 10 times a day? Is it doing 10 minutes of yoga in the morning? Is it taking a walk? What is that first small step? And you take that first small step, be mindful of it, make it a habit, make it a part of who you are. And then ask yourself, okay, what's the next step, right? One step at a time is all it takes to be successful. Monica, where do you personally feel most inspired? What pumps you up? What fires you up? What turns you on in life?
Oh my God. Honestly,
besides pre-workout.
Oh yeah, right. I had to cut the pre-workout.
I still can't shake the pre-workout. That's my last vice.
You know what? I love drinking coffee and working out. It's incredible, but my body stopped allowing it. So now I have forced myself to have that without caffeine. It's amazing. I promise it's possible.
Okay. Yeah. I know it's possible.
But to answer your question, what inspires me? Contributing. Honestly, being inspiring inspires me, if that makes any sense. I have these clients that tell me on a regular basis, just who you are inspires them to make change because I'm so disciplined, because I'm actually practicing what I preach. I literally get high from people changing their lives. I mean, aside from that, I love doing lots of fun things, if that's what you mean as well. But the bigger picture here is, that.
Yeah, I resonate with that deeply. I mean, I think that's part of purpose. When you're so amped up about what you're doing with most of your time, with your life, that's purpose, right? That's what should fire you up.
Yeah, life without purpose is not fulfilling at all. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people are not feeling very content often.
Sure. It's okay. So that's great. I mean, there's a lot of people, especially, come to us and talk to us that they're not content. They're going through life and they're kind of going through the motions. Maybe they might be living surface level. What would you say to somebody to help them really get out of that rut, to start living life on their own terms? What would you say?
Listen to their yes. Follow that joy. Follow that bliss. What's something you lose time with? Where you're just completely present and you have no idea what time it is and you're completely obsessed with what's going on. Those little moments are what you want to go after and continue to kind of follow your greatest excitement. It seems kind of obvious, but people don't do this. They don't say yes, and they don't do what they're actually wanting to do. Yeah. And they don't realize that they can actually live a big, grand life and do what they love. So there's kind of often this belief, I can't really do what I love because family or this, but You can have it all.
Yeah.
So
well, that's another old paradigm. I love to ask not the question. Well, I want you to really step into your passions. Purpose. Part of purpose is not only service to the world. It's what are you passionate about? What deeply moves you? What gets you out of bed without hitting that damn snooze button 10 times before you jump out of bed? And you got to say, oh, I got to go to the office and deal with Becky from accounting again. And I just hate my life and this and this. What are you passionate about? I love asking this single question. If your happiness paid the bills, what would you do with the rest of your life? Now, we get stuck in this belief system, the societal kind of pressures and the cultural expectations. And we say, well, I'm passionate about this, but everybody knows you can't make money doing it. Right. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is what are you passionate about? What do you really love? Like you said, what do you really lose time over? And then the follow-up question is not, can you make money at it? Because we immediately go to no, of course not. The follow-up question is, how can you make money at it? Because that presupposition of how implies that it can be done. And I've done this long enough to know that even the most stubborn people can always find a way to make money and be of service with their passions. And maybe your passion right now isn't purpose yet. Maybe it's just something small, right? Maybe it is just, hey, I want to learn how to surf. Maybe I want to, start working out. Maybe I want to start meditating. Whatever that bliss is in your heart, follow it. Don't be afraid.
100%.
What do you believe is the key to success?
What do I believe is the key to success? I mean, it's tied into all this. Honestly, just continuing to move forward no matter what happens. Just dealing with whatever comes up and saying, okay, this is meant to happen. What else is possible? And not giving up. That's success. It's not, I did this thing. Maybe that thing wasn't supposed to happen because this other thing was supposed to happen. That's actually better. So you're going to get to where you want to get to. Just keep going. Trusting that everything is actually happening as it should. Go after that thing that you cannot stop thinking about.
Yeah.
That's success to me.
Yeah, definitely. Persistence. This is too many people kind of give up before they're there. And we kind of have one hiccup and we go, oh, well, I gave it a shot. Well, did you really? What do they say? A river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Asked a lot of people on this show this very question. And the underlying answer in every single person that answers this question is exactly what you said.
Good.
Yeah, I know. It's persistence. It's not giving up. It's going for it. Guys, imagine you're sitting at a table with the most successful people in the world. You're talking with Richard Branson. You're talking with Steve Jobs. You're talking with Bill Gates, whoever. You're talking with us right now. You're sitting down having coffee with all these people. I can guarantee you ask them, what does it take to be successful? You're not going to get a sexy answer. You're all looking for a sexy answer, but you're not going to get it. The answer is persistence. Yeah. The answer is not giving up. The answer is to continue moving forward. You're going to get some scraped knees. Don't stay on the floor. Don't overstay your welcome at the pity party. Get back up, brush yourself off, and keep going. Keep going. What do you believe is the foundation of true, authentic happiness?
Appreciation, gratitude, being completely here and seeing that you have everything you need. Everything is amazing. Everything really is perfect. Even in the darkest moments, it's perfect. Completely accepting what is now. You can find happiness in every single moment if you can be present and do that.
Yeah. Yes. I wake up every day, I ask myself 2 questions. What am I truly grateful for today? Because I understand happiness. Again, I guess you can imagine, hey, what is happiness? And you're sitting at the dinner table with Dalai Lama and yourself and I and all these people. What is happiness? And they're going to give you the answer. Gratitude.
Everything really is amazing.
Everything is amazing, right? And so I ask myself every single day, I ask, what am I truly grateful for in my life? Because I understand that gratitude is the foundation for happiness. And then I ask myself, what would make today really amazing? Yeah, that's my accountability call to do that. But gratitude, it's about really wanting what you already have and not about focusing on having what you want. There's beauty all around us.
Yeah. I mean, you can be open to great things getting better. It's like a space of, I love where I am and I'm open to things getting better, but I love where I am. I'm constantly reminding my clients this. This is huge when you really get this because you welcome in even more when you're in that space. When you're thinking about lack, you're going to experience lack. So when you're completely happy and content, you're going to see that. Whatever you're focused on, you're going to see. It's that simple.
Listen to that right there. Whatever you're focused on, you're going to get. Now, how true is that? Don't take our word for it. Start living in alignment with what she's saying right now and message her and let her know the results you see after 30 days. And don't take our word for it. Just go do it. Go do it. And you'll see. I love asking this question. I'm going to ask you this question. And I'm very curious actually to hear this answer. If you can have dinner with one person, living or dead, fictional or non-fictional, who would it be?
Great question. Probably Buddha. Not religiously, but I'm big on compassion for all. So to talk to someone who's really mastered that would be incredible. My parents did raise me with Buddhism, so that could be why as well. But
interesting. I'd love to hear more about that. Yeah. What would you ask Buddha?
How can I fully, unconditionally love myself more? Honestly, I would ask that question, because as much as I love myself, there's always something to love and accept. And I find when I'm in that space, everything is perfect. So I would ask that question, because then I love everybody else unconditionally. So
now it's interesting. As a coach, I believe I have no information to give to you that's ever going to change your life or anything along that. I believe you have everything within you already. You know the answers already. So I'm curious, if I were to really, really ask you, if you ask Buddha that question, what do you think he would say? What is the answer you think he'd give you?
You already do love yourself unconditionally. It's already here. It's already here now.
Yeah, that's such a Buddha answer. That's totally. I can see you saying something like that, and you're all frustrated. You're like, I don't understand. Help me. Give me more information. And he's like, no, son, within yourself, right? Yeah. And it's such a typical Zen. It's like a little Zen koan almost, right? You go figure it out. How do you practice Buddhism now? Because it's something that I practice myself. I practice Zen meditation and Taoism and all these things. How is it something that you practice? Is it just through meditation or any other things?
Just the simple principle of everything truly does happen for a reason, and to completely trust that. Going back to compassion, so the principles are more kind of what comes into my world than anything else. It's funny. It really goes back to fully just loving everything as it is, having compassion for everything. It's just a beautiful space when you're in that space. If you tune into that, it's profound. There's no separation. There's no judgment. There's no, you're different, this is wrong, this is right. It opens you up to kind of a oneness feeling of realizing that we really are all truly connected. And it's powerful when you're living from that space.
Yeah. Do you find that kind of space can often be fleeting? Because I'm certainly in that space, not consistently, but I'm in that space in very fleeting times. Sometimes days, sometimes just very fleeting moments. How do you typically find yourself in that?
Things ebbs and flows, but I find when I'm doing my practices, when I'm meditating, when I'm doing my physical activities, when I'm doing my gratitude lists and just thinking about being appreciative, it keeps me in that space, opening up. I kind of imagine myself being open.
You just gave me an insight. That's why I'm like, for anybody listening, I'm just like totally, you just had an insight. It's so simple, but it is a consistent practice. You talk about persistence to be successful. When I am focusing on more long-term meditations and I take that meditation off the cushion and I'm consistent in my gratitude practice, I do notice certainly a correlation where I'm more blissed out and zenned out more often. So yeah, definitely. Okay. I'm going to go sit for an hour after this.
100%. I did a yoga training 2007, and it was a lot of meditating. It wasn't really about the physical. It was more about going within. And we had to meditate in the morning, from 5 to 7 every day for 1 to 2 hours sometimes. And that's when I got the most information. I wish I could do that again. I was younger.
I'll do it. That's something.
You get clarity. You get tuned in. You get answers. You get visions. It's not this magical thing. You get completely. You're tuned in.
People ask me this all the time. How do you sit for an hour every single day and just do nothing? I always answer, because in nothing lies the answers. The wisdom doesn't come through your thinking. It comes in the space between your thinking. And the longer that you can sit between thinking, the more insights, the more breakthroughs, the more awakenings you're going to have. This is why our best ideas come in the shower, right? It's because we're not sitting on it with our face in our phone and we're not thinking about anything, right? Certainly. And I've done meditations like that. I've done early morning, and I'll sit for a couple hours, and those have such a deep effect on everything I do for the rest of the day, and my coaching calls and my surfing and the way I
100%.
talk to people in line at Starbucks or whatever I'm doing. It's incredible.
Everything, your whole world can shift if you tune in like that. And even my clients will notice too. I had a client who was very honest with me. He's like, you were really great last week. And then I got sick the following week. He's like, I can tell you haven't been meditating. It's like, I'm sick. Okay. Give me a break. He's like, I can tell when you're doing your practice and when you're not, like, cause I have to meditate. I have to be on point for my clients. Like, I don't have a choice. Like, yeah, exactly.
I'm laughing because I completely connect with this. It's like, it's certainly the same. And I think that's not to say, listen, plenty of people listening to this right now, they don't meditate, right? And they're listening to this going, what in the hell are they talking about? Right. How can something so simple have such a profound impact? The thing about meditation is that when you do it and you do it consistently, you become more and more you. And so in meditation, it's a sense of happiness. It's a sense of peace. And I think that's become certainly my new surface level in life. I love having that kind of experience on a day-to-day basis. I love feeling like that. So meditation, it's like going to the gym. It's the same thing. You're working out your mental muscles.
And, it can be difficult to meditate. There might be something that could be coming up that you're finally getting in touch with that is hard to be present with. So this is often what I work with my clients is we face those feelings, emotions, energies that are hard to be with so that we can release them and then get more present with ourselves and open up a space for what we're actually wanting. So that's one reason it's hard to be present. It's hard because then you have to face all this stuff you've been avoiding with being distracting yourself, right? With every possible thing you can distract yourself with.
So what are distractions at the end of the day? It's nothing. It's surface level crap that kind of keeps our mind occupied so we don't have to focus on the big things in our life. And it's easy. It's easy to pull out my phone and just check Facebook instead of dealing with the really awful relationship I may be dealing with and trying to remedy that, right? It's easier to do that. And I'm getting some endorphins in my brain kind of, because I got 2 friend requests or whatever, right? But here's the thing. If we do it as easy all the time, life will continually be difficult. But if we do it as difficult, in your case, what you're talking about is confronting these feelings and heading to our challenges. If we do it as difficult, life will be easy, right? It's a very simple paradox.
Right.
Truly, if we run away from our challenges and we run away from all these things and we expect life to be less challenging as a result, and it doesn't, it becomes more challenging, right? But what happens when we face our challenges and face these things we have to deal with? Yeah.
We're always trying to self-medicate. How we can.
Yes, especially now. It's like we want to put a Band-Aid over something that needs stitches and being dealt with, right? It's like we want the quick fix. We want the easy answer, right? And we wonder why we're sicker as a result of it, right? We don't get better, we get worse.
The way out is through, though. So
was that Robert Frost said something like that, I think, a long time ago. I love that. The way out is through. So you're saying you have a challenge in your life, you're having something you're dealing with in your life, you're saying to just step into it.
Absolutely, fully step into it. Your life will change.
Yeah, full on. So this is a call to action, ladies and gentlemen. This is a call to adventure. This is your breakthrough waiting to be had. This is your threshold. Ask yourself, what is that threshold? What is it that's challenging you in your life? What is your call to adventure? And what's stopping you from getting there? And I'm going to let you know, and I think Monica will probably agree with this, if you continue to run away from that, if you continue to resist that call to adventure, your life won't get easier. It'll get more difficult. The question is, how will you step courageously into that? Monica, I got just one more question for you before we wrap up because we're running out of time, unfortunately. What do you want to be etched on your tombstone?
Oh my gosh. I want to be cremated and spread into the ocean. Or you can plant me as a tree. They have this cool thing now where you turn your ashes into a seed. Turn it into a tree. I prefer that. Wait,
that's a thing now? Hey, I didn't know that. I got to look this up because now I just changed my entire, yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm like really into that. That's really cool. Can you imagine? You're not going to a gravestone anymore. You're going to a tree. Your great grandchildren will one day visit a tree and say, "That's It's my great grandmother, right? It's beautiful. Where can the world find you? If people want to go follow you on social media, go to your website, what's going on over there?
Yes, I have a website, monicaloren.com. Instagram is my main social media, and that's also Monica Loren. Yeah, those are the main ones. YouTube eventually will come, not yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, follow her on Instagram. You said at Monica Loren?
Yes.
Okay, at Monica Loren on Instagram. Give her a follow, tell her hello. Yeah. Let her know, have a conversation with her, hit her up. She's got a great page. She's doing amazing things, super inspiring. Honestly, one of my favorite pages on Instagram, and it's been nothing short of a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much. Amazing. Awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, onwards and upwards. Go out there and get them. Hey guys, it's me, Travis Barton. If you want to learn more about living the dream with Travis Barton, visit us at speakingtotheheart.org and at iTunes.
Do you really believe you are on the best side?